Mhm. What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Welcome back to Nooners of Ice and Fire, a symphony of swords. A very, very special day today. We have music producer and composer John DelVento on with us, along with my resident co host, MackenzieLBurns. I hope everyone's having a fantastic time, and I will introduce John DelVento first. How are you doing, my man? And tell us a little bit about yourself, but you don't have to go insane.
I don't really need to do any of that, but I love this crew here in the chat. I don't have my phone and stuff, so I'm not going to be seeing everybody, but I know the people that are here. It's nice to see everybody on the screen. Nice to see you. I'm going to move my arms and hands like you did. That was a great introduction. It's great to be here. Mackenzie looks great. Johnny looks great. I got a haircut. I think I look all right. We're here on a Friday talking about Game of Thrones and a little bit of focus on music, but other stuff, and it's great to be here, especially great, like I said, being with the chat folks. So I'm John DelVento. That's all you need to know. And I love music and I love arguing about theories online and stuff.
Yeah, of course. We'll try to prove you wrong today. No, you're looking very
You
dapper.
tried. You tried.
Mackenzie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Johnny. It's great to be here as always. And yeah, we're having Easter family dinner in a bit. But yeah, it'll be so much fun to talk about the music because we mostly just talk about storylines. So it's cool to see how music influences certain scenes that we're going to talk about today.
Well,
There's a
everybody
different
got a haircut
perspective.
for me, right?
Oh yeah, I did get a haircut yesterday.
I got my beard trimmed too, and that's like an extra $5 too. So I did it for you, man. I got my
Mm.
lines up and everything just for you, Johnny.
Y'all
My
are
wife
looking
is like, "Whoa, what's this? Oh, it's not for you, honey. This is for Johnny Be Crazy. All right, this is for my chatters. This is not for you." Usually, she sees me, I look like a sleazeball.
whoa, easy trigger. No.
All
Um,
right. Hey, I'm
Mick-
into it because in episode 1 we had a little bit of hormones going on. We had some love going on, so I'm feeling it. So forgive me if it's rubbing off on you guys. But
we
we had some Disney moments. So
Let me welcome everyone in the chat real quick, and we'll get down to brass tacks. Reese O, what is going on, my man? Jaja Girl, how are you doing, my friend? Fake Aria, what is up? Go check out Bravosi broadcast today. Tad Dawson, 68 Dawson, how is it going? Linda Smith, how are you doing today? Catter Vision, welcome. Welcome to the chat. So glad to have you. I think I said Catherine Harding already, but if I didn't, Catherine Harding, much love. Yes, and we got Frankenstein's wife going to be made by Kyburn, according to Catherine Harding. So we can talk about that, and I'm sure John has some good music for that moment
for
later.
sure.
Other
Hey, if it's a Catherine theory, it definitely deserves some original music.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But with that, the music, we had the King's opening. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but the intro music that completely mirrored the pilot episode uh, with Robert and Cersei coming to Winterfell, but a little darker. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, Johnny, that's a great point. If we're just going chronological order, I mean, we opened up. I mean, I think we knew there was going to be a little bit of a homage, a flashback, but I didn't think they would really go all out. We went even back to the original music, which was the King's Arrival theme music. If you go in season one, it was bright, it was fast. Really fast. It's really fast and bright and happy. But now we get the same music, but Ramin, the composer, and obviously the directors directed him to do it slower and darker. It's almost kind of more evil, and then especially when you get to this part. It's evil, it's slower, it's bigger, but you know what's coming, and it just threw you back to season 1, but you know it's something different, and it's not like King drunk Robert, bumbling off a horse. It's like, auntie and nephew, riding in, and it's like it's epic, but it's not, and so that was our first musical factoid that maybe people noticed, I know, but maybe they didn't know kind of the musical structure of it. So that's a cool like composer's trick to take a something that's pre-written and just kind of move it around a little bit or make it slower, make it faster. And Game of Thrones doesn't do that too much. And to do it here, I think it was pretty brilliant. And it definitely added to the emotion. I don't know if you agree or not.
Oh, I really got the chills just then, and
Yeah.
thinking about it, I could feel it, and, when the king and queen first came to Winterfell, it was, more of a jovial moment, excitement. This has a lot of foreboding to it, and I think, it's very apt to the situation. Do you think we can read more into it than that? You know what I mean? As far as,
Yeah.
does this song, throw any foreshadowing our way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what music does on a TV show or in a movie, is that you might not always hear it, but you know that it's dark. Like, this music is going to create a dark kind of moment. Because of just the way music and humans interact. So because it's dark, and Dan and Dave said, Ramin, we need dark music here, that's going to tell us that, yeah, it's not jovial. I mean, yeah, it's a royal procession. There's a huge army of penisless men coming in, and there's dragons. Like, yeah, it's got to be kind of a epic. Hey, you knew what you were getting for when you invited me over. So you knew it was going to be epic, but it had to be dark because we know what's going on. And then once Bran had his one-liner, it was a good transition. Like, if the music was super happy and then Bran did that, maybe it would be cheesy, but it was set up to be dark. The lighting was dark, the costumes were dark, the music was dark, and then Bran said, "And all right, we don't have time for this." So you knew it was time for a little bit of action. So yeah, I think it's musically definitely made it dark and brooding, and the composer interacts very closely with the directors. Some people might not realize. So Ramin, for example, has already seen the finale. He knows what's going on. So if he's composing stuff, he's thinking of future episodes as well, because that music will probably come back at the end. If there's someone if there is an Iron Throne at the end, I guarantee, maybe if it's Gendry, they're going to have. And so they introduced. Sorry for the wrong note. They introduced it in episode 1, so perhaps they'll bring it back in episode 8. And we will have that in our consciousness already, because what's happened a lot in this episode is he's brought back music that we haven't heard in like multiple seasons. So that could be a little, tinfoil about the music, that, why would they bring back that theme unless they're going to perhaps reuse it at the end? You never know.
Ooh, and it makes you wonder if we'll get a good different take on the John and Egret music
Oh, yeah.
at
You
some
like that?
point. That made me just think about that. And Mackenzie, do you have any questions or any thoughts?
Everything's dark.
It really
Make it
is.
darker. Make it, yeah. I'm glad, but they threw in the humor a couple times. Like, it was nice, like Samwell and like the dragon dad. Like, God, I remember going out on the first dates and meeting the dad. It was the worst day of my life. The John was probably feeling that, like, but imagine a damn dragon looking at you, like,
Yeah.
and he's still hugging her. I said, "Hey, John, all right, good for you, man. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid of dad."
Yeah, it's
Some of these dads, well, watch out, guys. If there's any young guys watching,
How dare you kiss my mama?
it's like it's like how
how
dare
dare
you,
you kiss me?
my mommy. But it's like
But the couple humorous moments were good. But yeah, overall, you're right. Mackenzie, darker.
the theme too is because Robert is a big oaf kind of mentality almost, as they've talked about in the show, and then to kind of have it slowed down and darker, yes, can be for the setting and the times that we're in, but it's also kind of reflective of who John is, maybe, in a sense, and of how he's been kind of brooding and always not knowing like a lot of stuff, and is always sad all the time and not necessarily giddy or as excitable as Robert kind of was when they arrived, because everybody's like, I don't like this, especially with the Wintertown people, and they're like, who is this person coming with all of these people who are never supposed to be here in the first place, compared to Robert and the Lannister progression that shows up, where it's like, hey, we know you too, but it's like, it's not that bad that you're here, kind of
I
thing.
totally agree. That's like excellent analysis, Mackenzie. That's really great connection.
And John here almost mirrors Robert Baratheon in a sense. And does he only hug Bran with the touch of death?
Hugs Bran and Sansa,
Oh
but he
no!
gives Bran
Did you see
forehead
the
kiss.
meme Did you see the meme where it's like, I saw my brother stoned for the first time, and Bran is there like, oh, John's like, it's like when I saw my little brother stoned for the first time, like it was great.
Oh my
I'm hugging my brother, but why? What's the Brian's like, yeah, man. That was funny meme.
Almost. He's like, you're a man. He's like, almost.
Yeah,
Like,
you're a
what the
man.
hell? Yeah, and
The music was particularly effective for there being slower and more dramatic. Just that reunion, emotional tug. I don't know.
Tension
Tension. Yeah,
too.
good word. Tension.
because
Yeah.
Bran's kind of the only sibling that he's had hearings of being alive, and Sam telling him that, yeah, I've seen your brother, he's never been around. So for the fact that Bran and John actually interact in this moment, it's like, oh, it pulls on those heartstrings. It's like they're finally back together after so many opportunities of missed situations, that they're like, yes, you get them back together. And of course, Sansa with her whole Winterfell is yours, your grace. And it's like, but at the same time, Danny's like
Sansa's
no.
getting that Lady Olenna swag. You like that shade that she's throwing? I said,
Oh,
"Damn, Sansa, look at that!" I mean, it's great acting, of course, but I never seen. I was like, "Damn!" I'm not one of these crazy anti-Sansa people. She was never my favorite character, but I was more indifferent. But after seeing like season 7 Sansa, I loved, and after seeing that, I'm like, "Damn, look at that!" Like she's really good at this politics stuff, man.
There was someone who
Her
joked.
versus Danny is a great dynamic. I mean, one's got dragons and one's got like everything else.
personality.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just being that.
Shade. And there's also I
think
think there
Sansa's
was
prettier,
another
too.
meme that was online that it was like your brothers and your siblings go off and become magical beings, but you go and leave and you come back with a political science degree.
But that's a good question. I got a question to base off this to ask you too. So, Robert and Cersei coming to Winterfell in the beginning ends up pulling the Stark family apart. Do you think they will defy it this time? Do you think we'll see the opposite? This actually bringing them more together, John?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in a narrative faction, it seems like that's where they're going this season. I mean, we already saw basically 6 reunions, I think, in episode 1. Some people have criticized the kind of Disneyifying of basically the whole episode. So, I mean, I think a family reunion would be warranted. Like I said in the beginning, or maybe I said this pre-stream, I don't even remember. Like, I don't know how much time they're going to have to do a lot of this
Mhm.
stuff, but I think they've done plenty of reunions already. I mean, we've seen the Starks reunion. We heard the music a little bit. I think it's people are ready for the action. So I mean, I'd be cooler either way. I think we've seen enough. I think all the Starks have like gone off on their own way. Like Arya is basically a faceless person. Bran is not really a Stark. John's not a Stark. So I mean, what kind of reunion are we going to have? We have John and Sansa. So I'm either way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I see the reunion. It had to happen, right? They have such
Yeah,
little time, like you said. They might as well get it
I thought
all
it was
done.
effective too.
And with that, like you made me think of something. Yes, they're not really technically all family now,
Mm.
but I would argue that that's kind of the beauty of it, and would pull them even more together. Everything they went through together. I just think that John isn't going to make the same mistakes. When Sansa talks about, did you bend the knee to save us, or did you bend the knee to fall in love? I think it's complicated. Just the same with Egret. He killed Corn Halfhand and pretended to be a wildling, but also he fell in love. I think this is the same thing that John's dealing with. And what's he going to do? Is he going to let another Egret situation happen? Or is he going to go for the greater good here? Everybody immediately says the greater good and, let John, let Danny die, right? That's
What's
going
the
to be
greater
hard for
good?
John
Yeah.
to do. That's going to be
Yeah.
hard for John to do, right?
Yeah.
That's probably as close to a George R.R. Martin storyline that Dan and Dave and this team here could probably have gotten because there's so many intermingling parts. I mean, it's very George-esque, isn't it? The way they set it up. And I kind of put myself in the room in that scene. I said, damn, if I was a Northern Lord when this, like, I was in my couch, I sat back and I said, because it was, I mean, it's a tough decision. It's not easy. I mean, especially with these Westerosi ideals. And we just talked about family. I mean, blood is still a big deal, and this honor, chivalry is a bit. So I put myself in their shoes and I said, it's not an easy decision. I mean, it's really not. I don't blame a lot of those lords. I think Lord Glover is full of shit. He should die, and I can't wait to see him dismembered and burned. But I mean,
Fuck him, right?
the rest of the lords, they really had a big decision. A huge decision. I mean, it's like changing their entire way of life in a snap. I mean, dragons are there. There's a silver-haired woman. There's penisless men, like with there's Dothraki. Like, what is going on here? Like, dragons are eating horse. Like, what is going on? So, I really enjoyed that scene, and I loved the way Sansa handled that, and it was probably my favorite part. And that's when the Stark theme came back very slightly as well. So it's just a very Stark moment. I mean, the show is about the Starks, isn't it?
Very Stark moment. Nice pun and wordplay, my friend. That's what we do here on Johnny Be Crazy. By the way, join the Crazy Companions and sign up to my Patreon today. Blah, 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 blah. It is really fun. I had a lot of extra content on there. You can ask my patrons. Cat Catter Vision. You have a very good point, and we talked about this on Episode Club, another shameless plug, on MackenzieLBurns channel, so definitely go check that out. John's matured, knows that love is the death of duty. Call back to the greatest maester ever, Maester Aemon. So, Sasa, I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, Maester Aemon is John's, if the timing is appropriate, it's his great grand uncle, because it's two greats and then a grand uncle, I'm pretty sure, based off of date, I'm pretty sure, because it's just Dany's great grand uncle, not an extra great, I think, or grand uncle, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's
either way. Truer words have never been spoken. Do you think John is gonna feel the love of a newborn babe in his arms? Do you think we're gonna get all that? Is that foreshadowing? Oh, you got some background noise.
No, now I'm better. I think that it has to mirror, because I'm kind of working on the video part of what we've been thinking about. And if you look at certain scenes and certain comparative moments between the two, John and these two women, essentially, it's John meeting Ygritte and John meeting Daenerys for the first time, and him kind of being in shock and awe of this person in existence, and that they're actually there. And it's always, she said her name first, and then he says his name afterwards. And there's the initial idea of, are you going to kill me? And it's like, are you going to kill me? And he also tells both of them at a pivotal point of, this is what you have to do next, and you're not going to succeed if you don't listen to what I'm saying. For Daenerys and John, it's before the loot train battle. For Ygritte and John, it's before they tried to go and attack Castle Black. It's, you're not going to win if you don't do this. You're not, even though if you're going to try, you're still not going to win. And for Daenerys, it's like, you can win, but you have to do different things to win. Among like other scenes, like you can even say that John and Ygritte climbing the wall is the same thing as John and Daenerys having that ride for the magic dragon riding that happens later.
Let's not spoil that yet. We're getting there, but that's a great segue, isn't it, there, Johnny? Or was that pre-planned, or was it?
No, that's fine. It's preordained.
Is that preordained? That was,
yeah.
Oh, we are working here.
So many scenes that are connected to them, especially as a couple, and even having a location-based named sex scene as well. As there you go.
I would still push back on the maturity angle, though, because, I mean, personally, I've never been a huge fan of John, especially, I think the John in the books is quite obviously immature, but I think show John is still immature. Tony Teflon talked about this a lot in his pregame stream on Sunday, that at the end of the day, John has a penis, okay? He hasn't had experience a lot of women. Obviously, the first one he had, you saw how excited he was, and he was loving it. I mean, we all know the first time, it's awesome. Okay, let's get it through. Now he's had a second time with the mother of freaking dragons, the most beautiful woman on the, like, obviously, he's a man. His judgment is clouded. He did bend the knee, in our opinion, because of that. I mean, he's a young man. He's very immature. I mean, you saw the spring in his step. Like he's pulling Danny. It's like, I can't believe it's not Butterman. You know, that guy with the long hair. He's all suave. He's going nuts. And I'm saying, come on, John is totally clouded with his penis is totally taken over his brain. We know how guys are. Come on, we're all adults here in the chat. I think maybe they're not making that obvious in the show, but in my opinion, I'm a human being. If I was a man in that situation, I would probably be quite clouded as well. Now, I had a tinfoil theory in a couple streams ago that Danny has been using this to her advantage throughout this series. She knows she's beautiful. She knows that guys fawn over her. She's gone through many princes and kings and lovers. She knows this game by now. She's had plenty. John has only had her. So who knows what Danny's motives are? She got John to bend the knee. So check. She's in the north. Check. Okay. So who knows I mean, I agree with everything, but I think the original questioner brought up maturity. And that is something I would probably push back on from what I've seen so far. And people like the Imagination Realm in the chats and stuff, they have argued that, yeah, even the music in that scene is not very mature. It's almost Disney-esque. Like it's almost too much. And Dan and Dave are not stupid. They know that we're going to think it was cheesy, and I think they may have deliberately done it. So that's just my addition. Call it a hot take, call it tinfoil, but I think there's a lot of human psychology in there as well.
I would say that. Oh, hold on.
Is the chat blowing up? I don't have my phone because maybe that was a hot
take. No, it's good, but I would say up until the point he finds out he's banging his aunt, does he quits thinking with the penis at that point.
So was he worried about the ant part, or was he worried about the Eddard part? Because I watched that scene so much.
It's both.
And I was like, what is John worried about? Is he worried about that she burned Sam's? Is he worried about that he has to be the king? Is he worried about that this man that he loved was not his father? I think he's not worried about fucking his aunt. I mean, in my opinion, I thought that was last on his concerns based on what I saw.
It seems like first it's the fact that it's the dropping of the truth bomb of finally knowing. He's like working out dates, so he thinks, oh, I might be able to kind of know who she could be, blah blah blah. And then it's the idea that, oh, so my mother's not even the people, like these people are not even my actual parents. And then it's the realization of, you are the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, and then it clicks right in his head. Targaryen.
Something clicked there. The question is, what clicked? I mean, he did a look like something clicked.
I think it's the recognition of the word your mother, like, and then
that's why I felt such a deep connection with Danny.
It's it's like something, and then the Targaryen aspect, and then remembering that he's like, it's like doing the math in your head. It's like Rhaegar Targaryen equals Daenerys, like, and then a take over Daenerys Targaryen, and you're like, shit. So it's like the thing of both, in a sense of the recognition of, there's this word Targaryen in here. It's not like some other person and Ned Stark. It's Lyanna Stark, and like, what? But some people have made the meme online of, did John think that it was Lyanna and Ned Stark that were his parents? And it's like, no. But
that's a good meme. Is that the third meme we've shouted out already? Man, we are online way too much.
Oh, we're killing it.
But it's good. You know, online people are good, and I hope the chat's enjoying this. And I love talking about this stuff, guys. This is great. We only got a couple episodes left, so it's, you know, but I think we're on the internet too much. We're talking about memes and stuff.
We did. But Tina Sarah says Starks have quick tempers, slow minds. I don't think he realized the ant part fully yet. It hasn't registered.
I agree. I do not think it registered, or if it registered, I think it's way down on the priority list.
Yeah.
I just think that goes to show that was just a great scene, a very well-made scene. And Samwell's acting, I forget the actor's name, was fantastic. John's acting was fantastic. They better shell out the Emmys this year. I mean, there's the episode 1 I saw, fantastic acting from everybody. I mean, they've grown up so fast. And, Isaac Hempstead is becoming a little celebrity. He was on Jimmy Fallon last night, walking out with a nice suit and glasses. The ladies are screaming his name now. He's like, all right. I mean, he's like Daniel Radcliffe after Harry Potter. Like he's becoming a star, and his acting is great. I mean, just being able to show up like a creeper, I mean, to have that stare is not easy. And, and it never works out. It's like when you surprise your girlfriend when you put a mask on behind him and you think it's going to be a great gag, right? And then it scares the shit out of him, and it never works out. But that's like Bran, but it's hard to pull off those jokes. So Bran is pulling them off so well. He's doing the creeper thing so well. So he's becoming a great actor. And it was just with the John and Samwell, it was all well done, good acting and all around. So
I would agree for the most part. We could talk about Danny's acting, but that might be just what she's played for. I need to make a really quick announcement. Shout out to Handmade by Bobby Catalano. I will be announcing this on Monday, but we have something that I'm giving away. Stay tuned for the details. Handmade book by Bobby. Let me show you. You can even put your drugs in here. It's just a joke.
There you go. We don't need a soundboard here. We got a live music man. You could super chat me or PayPal anytime. We do live requests.
Yes, but and then it's even, like I said, got a place to put your secret poisons and all that jazz.
All that jazz?
All that jazz. Whatever you want to put in there. A turd, like an old, dusty, white dog turd. Or you can put poisons like me. I got some Sweet Sleep and some Wolfsbane, I think, in there. Oh, the Strangler, actually.
Oh, sorry. I started playing some jazz. I'm sorry about that. You said jazz.
No, it's all good. Jazz it up. Jazz hands. Go ahead, Sasa. I see you got a question. Also, what is going on, Bubba Husky? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to see a lot of the chat and question stuff this time, just with my complicated setup. So if anybody says anything or if I offend anybody, well, don't tell me about that one. But if anybody has a question, let me know.
Oh, no. DA says,
never.
The one true David Adams says, we are enjoying it, John. You're a great guest. And I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, man. Bubba Husky says you can put your weed in there. Very true, Bubba.
Where's mine, by the way? Oh, never mind. Wait, let me see the size of that box again. How big is it? That's the question.
Good. I don't want to talk semantics here, but it's enough.
I think I might need a bigger box. No, I'm kidding. All right. Anyways,
the question is from Cattervision that says, if Danny dies, John will move on because he knows he will have to for the sake of humanity, even though the loss once he can do it again because even more is on the line now. Yeah. The idea of moving, him having to lose Daenerys and then move on after that. Probably.
Well,
so
he's going to have to move on.
Not if he's immature.
Well, that's the thing. He's immature, but and this is very George, he's immature, but he's been thrust into power positions from the beginning. Like all these immature, like Tommen even, Joffrey, Bran, remember when Bran was running Winterfell for a while and giving provisions? Look at the Umber boy. So Jon is immature, but he's been thrust into power positions and he's been enjoying them, I think. So I think he knows he's the king now. And he's going to enjoy it, and he's not going to mind killing Danny. And if the Nissa theory happens, whatever, he's going to kill Danny. My theory, Varys is going to kill Danny. Jon is not going to care. Ygritte was the love of his life. They were so precious. They were big, and she's gone. He's on to Danny now. Danny dies. I don't think Jon's going to make a big deal about it. He wants to be king. He enjoyed being Lord Commander, even though he didn't really want it. He enjoyed being king of the North. He's going to enjoy being king of the Seven Kingdoms. So if Danny dies, I agree with whoever made that point. I don't think Jon's going to cry. I don't think he's going to make a big deal because, he burned his best friend's parents and stuff. Yeah, it was a big one-night stand. She's beautiful. She's got a great rear end. I agree. But, sorry, I think the attachment is not there. Even though they did use their love theme this episode, which was a little confusing to me. I don't think that is going to be played up too much anymore, but we'll see.
Well, Danny seemingly, oh, sorry for the mic touch. Danny seemingly has more feelings for John. She has more worry for John than John does for Danny, right?
I never
And
thought of it like that.
I would
Yeah.
argue that she hasn't felt any type of way since Khal Drogo. And I agree with you on the Egret point that John isn't ever really capable of fully loving again. What he went through screwed him up so much, in my opinion, that it's going to take him a while to get past that. Not some quick romance on Dragonstone. Seems
It's
more
hard
like
to get back the first time. It's hard to get past the first time. Believe me,
Yes.
it takes a while. And, the one after that is always whatever. But, it's hard to get past the first time.
And
believe me.
the crazy part, too, is also that the first person that he was... it's really strange, Johnny. This may be adding into your theory about Bronn and the bow, but 2 ladies that John has either had sex or wanted to have sex with have died due to a crossbow, because they kind of in the show say that it was Roz that was the one person that John was gonna have sex with the first time, and then she obviously dies by crossbow from a... So
Go ahead, John, with the foreboding music.
Oh, yeah, foreboding music? No, I wasn't going foreboding. I was going sex. How cheesy is it? And they're riding the dragons together, and they put that up. It's like Aladdin and the magic carpet. I was ready to vomit. Imagination Realm hit me up on Twitter. She's like, "Oh my God, it was Disney. It was cheesy." And I said, "Yeah, I agree." And just that sex music is so beautiful, but it is so cheesily used in that moment. My God. So
yeah, it's... But Danny dying by crossbow may be a thing, or having to be taken out if while she's dying by crossbow would be not 1, 2, 3 strikes. Like once is a anomaly, 2 is a something else, and 3 is a pattern or whatever that phrasing is. But
you can die by crossbow. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Sinful Souls in the chat. They're the one that brought it up Monday and just kind of clicked, because Danny's kind of marrying Egret. Bronn is having this horrible PTSD, which I've never seen Bronn this upset about anything except Dragonfire. He was at the Battle of Blackwater, and that didn't bother him. But these dragons, people melting inside their armor. I mean, I could only imagine what I would be like after this. So I could see him not going for Jaime and trying to end the war in one single stroke, as Jorah and Tyrion have said that all it takes is one bolt to the heart. That's it. And I think we'll see at least an assassination attempt on Dany. And I believe that Bronn may or may not be caught, and they'll think it's the North that did it. And we'll have a little crazy, even more battle of Winterfell going on, an internal battle, and the Night King, taking advantage and sneaking up on him from behind. Sorry.
Your segues are great, man, because speaking of Bronn, the other musical homage that we saw in episode 1 was probably one of the famous, most favorite themes for everybody, especially in the early season, was the Rains of Castamere, the House Lannister theme. We have not heard this bad boy in a while, and I know Mackenzie has some references, but we heard this when Qyburn and Bronn, that awkward moment with the crossbow, we heard. A small short quote of the Rains of Castamere, and that theme was always used when Tywin used to give orders or when Tywin did something. Now it was used here in season 8 when Cersei was giving an order, and I think that's a big deal. And if you don't know music, maybe that wasn't clear, but hopefully I could help see that. Maybe it's nothing, but for me as a listener, first of all, it was cool to get that King's Arrival theme, but it was really cool to hear the Rains of Castamere used for Cersei's plotting, because everyone thinks she's going to die. She's done. I think no way. Cersei on my fantasy draft is surviving the whole season. I think she's very strong. She's got the money. She's got the power. She's still very strong. And she got probably the strongest theme in the history of the show still. So I thought that was a great moment. I don't know if people in the chat caught that, but part of this soundtrack is so good because you can do like 2 or 3 notes and you know what it's about. And we heard that for the first time. I don't know, Mackenzie, if you had those references the last time we actually heard that theme. I don't know off the top of my head.
I want to say the last time they play the song "The Reigns of Castamere" is Tywin's funeral. I'm pretty sure that, which is 501 D. Shit, what's it called? It's 501 D.
Oh, she swore before me. Ha ha! I said penis a couple times. I was holding myself back. You had an S word, Mackenzie.
Oh, the wars to
Damn.
come. There we go. That's what it's called. It's the wars to come.
That was season 5, you said? Before I interrupted you?
I think so. Yeah, I think it has to be Tywin's funeral where Jaime and Cersei are having the conversation about where like the last land were the kids that matter, kind of. That was their conversation. And I think that's one of the last times they have it, because I don't think they use it again.
Oh, not until this moment. So what do you think about that, Johnny? You think that has some implications there about Cersei?
Maybe. I got lost in the chat over here. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
No, it's all good. No, we're
No.
talking about Cersei, the Qyburn and Bronn moment when they bring back the Reigns of Castamere. My idea is that, it's a strong theme originally for Tywin, and now it's Cersei because, Kevin Lannister is not in charge. Cersei is in charge, and she got the Reigns of Castamere.
I could see it both ways right now. I think just because they don't want to be in scenes with one another, I don't think Lena Headey would even wanted to be in a split scene with him. I would say that Qyburn himself is working for Cersei, but there is a small chance that Qyburn's working on his own, and us hearing the Reigns of Castamere could be the demise of the House Lannister. We're probably going to see that anyway. Everyone is assuming that Tyrion's going to live. Everyone thinks he's going to die now. I don't know. I feel like they're all going to die, but Cersei has a better chance of living than anyone, which I know that might be blasphemous, but Fandom D Saint is going to love me for that comment.
Absolutely. She's not dying. They're not killing Cersei. Come on. No way. No way. No way. I don't think it's going to happen. I do not think it's going to happen. But that was a great segue. So that was my only other musical point, I think, from this episode, my friend, except my only other thing was that I had a theory that came true. I don't know if we have a sound effect for that. Is it wasn't a plot-based theory, but I had a musical theory, and people that were in the chats probably know that I predicted that every season, basically, we've had a new piece of music, a new theme, or a new musical piece, whether it's about Dany or the love or whatever. In season 8, my prediction was that the new theme would be when Jon was potentially riding his dragon. And this was when it was in theory form. So that came true. In episode 1, we had brand new music, and it was short. But when Jon was riding the dragon, I was thinking they were going to use the Dracarys theme, which is Dany's dragon riding music, which I
Love
can't
that
play.
theme,
I don't
by the
have
way.
that. Yeah, it's really
It's
short
hardcore.
and hardcore. It's a lot more epic than a lot of the sad music in the show. So that's a great thing. I was thinking they were going to use that, but no, they gave Jon his own original music, for riding a dragon, which means it's separate. But then it transformed into our love theme of the when they were riding together, and that's just a whole different narrative point. But my theory was proven true, and I didn't think they would do it in episode 1, but they did. So now that music is going to be used and reused, and now the only time in Game of Thrones when a theme is given from Dan and Dave, because they run the show, is when it's a strong character. Some themes are reused, like Baelish's theme is also used for Varys sometimes because it's like more of a general theme. The White Walker theme is also used for the Wall. It's a reused theme. Now Jon has his own theme when he's riding a dragon. So now my theory was that's going to really solidify him as a Targaryen, as his own person, separate from Dany. And that was the last kind of musical point I wanted to make about that. So I'm happy that the theory was proven true, but I think it's also a good narrative-based theory as well. And I think that's probably the only new music we're going to get this season because, like I said, they would only bring in new music for other moments. There was some slightly new Night King music at the end, but it's too quick to see if that was new material or not. So that's my last point. Yeah.
Not really. We're going to talk about
Oh, we're
that
gonna talk.
spiral,
We're gonna
but
hold
we're
that.
going to take
The
the
spiral.
imagination
That's
realm
not
break.
musical, but we will hit that, and that's gonna be a bombshell. So people in the chat, you better be sticking around. I'm just starting to wake up. I finished my cup of coffee, and
Oh, snap.
this was the preview, folks. I got bacon in my system. I'm set. We got some good stuff here, so let's keep it going.
You need to bring some bacon to share with the whole class. So everyone, go check out the Imagination Realm.
Her stuff is so good. I love this news page.
It is really good. It's a bunch of different TV shows, so it's not just Game of Thrones. You have your news on the long night. Lots of relevant news, a blog. It's fantastic. We'll check out, if you can see, we got the pictures from episode 2 of season 8. About 14 pictures have been released. I think there's some fun stuff to talk about here. Let me check out the Pool of Dragons. That's what you want to go check out today is the Pool of Dragons. That's her little, it's a little game you get to play. Who wins, who dies, who lives, who dies, who becomes a white. Let's go check out the Imagination Realm. So, nice, easy working site. All the good articles will be linked here. So you have your American Gods, you got your news. She has a fantastic blog that you definitely got to check out. Let's see what else we got, y'all. And let's go check out the photo show. Let's see what we got. Boom, 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 boom. I got the John and Danny theme stuck in my head. I don't think
Isn't
it's
it
a
great
good thing.
how Ramin's music can do that, dude? Like it's great
Yeah.
that you're humming that. That makes me so happy as a composer because I'm not that good yet, but he's just such a good composer to be able to do that. I
Love me
love
some
it.
Westworld too.
His Westward music is sick. Look at
I
that
do have a
shot.
problem here with
Look
this
at these
rubber
pictures.
knife. This rubber knife that Grey Worm has, that is an issue.
Did you see the Grey Worm interview on one of those shows where he kind of confirmed that he does have like a penis, like there is something down there?
Then what are they talking? They're going completely
Sandpaper
against the
theory
books,
has
huh?
been debunked because
Well, it's not it.
Yep, go ahead.
It's not even a theory in the books. They don't have anything. They have checked.
Well, yeah, in the books for sure. But it was just great to see
weird.
all these actors, finally interviewing and stuff. And it was like, yeah, so him and Missandei, they did get it on. I mean, it was hard, and there were just no balls there. So there you go. We're talking Tormund and Brienne would get their own epic sex track. Oh, so I do see chats when people tag me. That's cool. I'm so glad that person, it just disappeared. Sinful something brought up Tormund and Brienne. It's one of my favorite dynamics. I really don't know if Tormund's going to die. That's like everyone, Tormund's going to die. Tormund's going to die. Yeah, check. Everybody agrees with everybody. I don't think Tormund's going to die. I think at the end, a really cheesy, but they're going that way. I think it would be great to see Tormund and Brienne. I mean, he wants her. She doesn't want him yet, but would they get evil sex music? I don't know about that, but that would be
evil
great.
sex music. Won't you make up some on the fly?
Oh, on the fly?
No, I'm joking. He's like, come on, man, don't put me on the spot, bro.
It was like epic sex music.
What I would. The birth of giants.
Sorry.
I think Brienne's gonna be.
Music, so that person got to PayPal me, all right?
Okay, everybody enjoy that.
Just kidding.
I won't be asking him anything again because I'm very broke. I'm kidding. Okay, so I have a thing about Brienne, right? I think in the book she's irreparably scarred, physically and mentally, and I think she may end up like that in the show. Not as a bad person, but how are they going to cultivate the Tormund relationships? What I want to know.
Just the last episode, like the very, very last, cheesy thing,
I like Tormund and Brienne, but I don't like how they haven't.
Who's going to run the Isle of Ark, man? Tormund and Brienne, new empire right there.
I get it. Davos Seaworth will just be king.
I haven't seen all these pictures. What's Davos doing at the soup kitchen? I have not seen.
Oh, okay. Check it out. These are the
picture for next episode.
Oh, see, I have not been. I've kind of turned off famdom a little bit, like a lot of these things because it's overwhelming a little bit. Like I check out things on Sunday, but if this popped up
Oh,
the past couple of days, I have not seen these. These are cool, man.
yeah, Imagination Realm sent them to me. I don't have time for the news, so I have great friends that help me out.
Badass. Look at this, Lady Mormont. Oh my God.
I think
Yeah, she's gonna fight. She is gonna fight. She even said she was gonna fight in season
God.
7.
If
So
I ever had a daughter, she better end up like that. Oh
I
my
know,
God.
right?
I
Holy
think
smokes!
I
Look
think
at the
Bella.
lords in the back, like just looking. You see how they did the picture? How the lords are like lifting their head, like they're looking up at her, like it's a
Oh
power.
yeah,
That's great camera angles. Really good work there.
so good.
Yeah,
And Gilly, let me show you something that's gonna. I think this is really important right here.
Fantastic.
Gilly,
I need that link. What is it?
oh
Entertainment.
yeah, I'll send you that right now. It's on Imagination Realm, but I'll send it to you
from
right now.
Entertainment Weekly.
Imagination Realm is on it.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
one thing with what's it called? Brienne, not Brienne, Leona Mormont was that she got to tell people like after her interview, she's like the favorite thing about her role is that as a girl of her age, she got to stand up in front of a bunch of grown men and just yell at them all the time and scold them half the time for her role. It's like, yeah.
That's great. And did you see the all the like actor reflection videos, like My Life in Thrones? And Amelia Clark said the same thing. She said it was a great part for me as a young woman in my life to be able to act this role because I've never had it before. I never had it again as a young woman. It was great for me to have these powerful. And she started crying, and I started crying. And man, the show has done a lot for humanity, for these individual people, for us as people. But yeah, I bet that young girl is having the same exact effect, like being able to stand up. I don't know the actress's
Bella
name.
Ramsey.
Do that. I think it's great, and that's another thing why I freaking love this show, man. I love it.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey. But
Bella
no,
Ramsey is
Rolls
her
of
name.
Brown.
Ramsey.
yeah, Bella Ramsey.
Oh,
Oh goodness.
so you
But
think she's gonna fight Johnny? Is that what you said? Like
Yeah, she's
actually
gonna
with a
fight.
sword, or
she said she wasn't gonna sit
oh,
in the
she's
room with the women and the children. She says, "I won't be sitting by the fire when men fight for me. I'm small, Lord Glover, but
here's
Are we
a.
getting flashbacks next
I think
episode
I
too?
think
You see this
I think
pic?
it's going to be so lost at the point where they're going to be fleeing. I don't think there's going to. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
you might
I
try."
think we're getting flashbacks, Sasa and John. When I see this, I think we're getting some brand Weird Realm action.
I could see them giving us maybe this is like a slim chance. This may not happen in this exact episode, but we may get maybe Night of the Laughing Tree / Rhaegar and Lyanna's first meeting, especially if we don't know the title of this episode, but we might get something related to that because
Maybe.
Would
there
that play into the God's Eye? And because that's what happened in the Night of the Laughing Tree, the little craning man did go and stay on at the God's Eye.
so if we're getting the God's Eye, we might get
Going
that.
down a rabbit hole now. I mean, that's yeah.
Oh, it's a segue to those final pictures,
No,
bro.
it's
You know
just
how I do
tough
this.
because we only have 5 episodes. I would love for them
I
to.
know.
I mean, my personal opinion. First of all, George was right. There should be more seasons. Second, my opinion is I think the Werewood mystery has run its course. Just like the symbols, I think the mystery's there. I don't know if we're going to get much more about it. But if we're thinking about the God's Eye, then maybe I would love to see it. But hell, there's 5 episodes. We already got a lot of clues about the crypts of Winterfell. That seems to be the mystic location that's going to show up. Are they going to have time to bring up another kind of mystical location? And if they did, it would be the God's Eye. So I know you have some stuff on this, Johnny. I'm not super prepared to comment on it, but I don't know. They only have 5 episodes.
Yeah, there's a.
But that's a great picture, the werewood. I mean, I know they always have the leaves falling down and stuff, but it's just good to see that element, and just that really odd red color. And Bran is he's searching. I mean, it's when they're attached to these werewood trees, I mean, 3 hours, they don't know everything. They know as much as they can get. So it's heroin. I mean, you get more and more and more, and you get addicted, and you need more, and you're only okay when you have it. So Bran, he's always there. He doesn't have a lot of the answers, but he needs the answers. Like it's like I remember when my grandfather had his stroke, and he ended up being okay. But the hardest part for him after was being able, like he used to tell me that I know what to say. The thoughts are here, but I can't put them together. Like it's so hard for me that I can't put them together. So I feel that Bran in this picture, like he knows that he can see everything. He knows the answers. He knows Rhaegar and Lyanna, but he needed Sam to help him for a reason, because he can't put these things together. And it seems like in this picture, he's almost begging, he's almost praying to the werewood. I need the answers. I can defeat the Night King. And my tinfoil, we're not going to talk about it today, is I don't think Bran can do it. I don't think he's powerful enough to do it. I don't think he's going to be super useful. I think my girl, Melisandre, has the power, the sufficient magical power right now to do it. Bran is not ready. I think in that picture we see Bran's mind is just clouded, and he's searching for answers. But you see that werewood face. It's almost like mocking him. And this is all my speculation. So.
And hey, that's what we do. We speculate, and it's fantastic. What's going on, Tomic M? Welcome. It's a good point. You stay too long under the sea, and you will drown. You know, are we going to see that with Bran? I think we'll see a crisis, a situation of crises. And Tomic M says, "Wouldn't the great start of the episode be Bran telling Jaime, 'Can you push me?'" I do think Jaime is going to finish the job with Bran. He's going to have to, reluctantly as hell. He's not going to want to do it. But kind of going into Bran and the Weirwoods, I think this is a big point here. If I make this bigger, we can see that the original place where the Night King was made, which is right here, has the spiral symbol.
Oh, I'm on mute. Don't drop my picture yet, man. I skipped that one. All right, we're not going to spoil the surprise.
Oh, this ain't your pic. You can't see it, right? Okay, yeah, I got this one up.
All right.
So we'll talk about what we found with Ned Umber in just a second. That's going to be like our final segment. Right now, we're going to go to some questions in the chat, and then that way you can get ready for your segment, John. See, I got this planned out, bro. I got it planned out.
All right.
Hey, I try to sound professional.
Like SNL. I have my own segment now. I'm like the side comedy guy that they bring in every couple of years. It's a different side, man.
That's right. We need you for sound effects and funny dick comments.
I said penis. Andy had an S word. You had a D word. And you thought the salty New Englander was going to be the swearing one. Not this time. The Alabama boy, the good Southern gentleman, swore. You have it on stream. You have it on record. Bam. But don't get demonetized. That's 2 swears already, right?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, we like to keep it wholesome family fun here, right? Ted Dawson
is a real family show. Yep.
Ted Dawson wants to win the book for the Weirwood paste. I can't blame you there. That Weirwood paste, that Jojen paste is good. A little ground up Jojen.
To the warlocks. I mean, there's several theories that the dead weirwood trees. I mean, that's what's outside the House of the Undying. Crowfoot's daughter has great material that what they're drinking is basically Shade of the Evening is weirwood paste. Okay, so look at what overstimulation of magic does to humans. I mean, this is what's happening to Bran. If you give Bran another 100 years, he's going to become a warlock or the three-eyed raven. Like, he is messed up right now. You could tell. He knows. He's told. I don't think he's going to solve anything. It's going to be Jon, Dany, Melisandre. Bran is totally far gone. And this paste, I mean, it was a sarcastic comment. I think that's basically what it is. I mean, look at what the paste did to the warlocks. Look at what it's doing to Bran.
Look what it's doing to Euron in the books, that crazy bastard.
Look what it's doing to me.
You know, that's good point. What do you see any questions in there, Mackenzie?
It's more of like a statement, but
notice that I drank a whole bottle of this in the stream, and I drank this. So all my theoretical knowledge is not coming from my brain. It's coming from these Shade of the Evening drinks. This is called Tropical Rhythms Island Mango. It's actually called Shade of the Evening.
That's a code name. There's a question from
Philosophy Cubensis is probably where you should go with that.
This is more of a statement, but it's from Tina Sarah, who says maybe they will cut off Jaime's left hand for pushing Bran with a smiley face.
How about they cut off Jaime's penis?
Okay, so I want to throw this out at you. I was gonna make a theory video, but I will unveil it to y'all today because I don't really have time. Johnny be busy as hell, as you know. So Danny, we also have the trial of Jaime Lannister coming up. Do you think it's going to turn into the trial of Daenerys Targaryen? Aerys the Mad King and burning people alive are going to be brought up. What do you think the implications of that are going to be? And I do think, in my opinion, that they will get interrupted by Tormund and Beric saying the Night King will be here in about 12 hours. So this is what will stop the confrontation for a time. But as soon as they get out of there, I think this is going to ramp back up. What do y'all think? Go ahead, Sasa. You haven't said that in a minute.
Yeah, I most definitely think that there's gonna be everybody thinks it's like, ooh, it's just gonna be Jamie that's on trial, for everything that he's done. But I feel like we're gonna have another sassy Sansa moment where she's gonna be like, but you also burned some people recently, and it's like, from with the Tarleys and as such, but also your father had done some bad things too. So don't worry, and your brother had done bad things. Because if this is what we think it is, and the sisters don't know, she can bring up, oh, but your brother kidnapped my aunt, and your father also killed my uncle and my grandfather. So like it'll be all of those weird things coming up, and we'll have to have Bran and Sam and everybody maybe in this moment divulge about who John is in a sense. Because if we go in, because I don't know if we're gonna go into battle with them not knowing, because why not? Like, if all of these people and all these old events keep being brought up, and either the conflict of Rhaegar being a bad or a good person, John not knowing exactly his true stance on Rhaegar and having conflicting issues, it's like, which one do I go with? Do I rely on the books or do I rely on what people who were there said about me? Especially because Jamie is the last, I think, person that we have who has the ability to connect to Rhaegar's conversation in a sense. Because I think Jamie talked to Rhaegar and was like, "You'll have when I get back, um, the kingdoms are going to be different," or some line like that, where it's like, when I come back, or I will right the wrongs of something of my father, so on and
Yeah,
so.
that's the big angle. I mean, everyone in the chat knows I despise Jamie probably more than anyone, but I think you're right about that. I mean, he is going to avenge something, some big ideal, and if they go that angle at the trial, I think it would be great because that's what makes Game of Thrones so awesome. It's not these battles and stuff; it's this political drama, and it's like I said, is putting yourself in the shoes of those lords, those old ancient houses. I mean, I would love for them to spend a good chunk of the episode on the trial of Jamie. Why not? And you, like you said, bring up Danny's issues, bring up the Mad King. Why not? This is what makes Game of Thrones so good. It's the side conversations, it's the walks on the road, and everyone's making a big deal about the Night King's coming and everything. You know, I'm not a military person, but everyone else in my family was in the military. I was the lazy musician, but the whole of thing is like muster up and wait. I mean, this is what's happening. Like, you get ready for the battle, your commander calls you in, and then what do? You sit there and, and you wait. So everybody knows that there's a battle, but there is time to do this stuff. And I agree. And well, I would love for them to do it, but it's not a big, like, the Night King's coming. Yeah. And that's very important. But I would love for them to spend time with this. And I don't agree with people that say that they don't have time for this. They got to muster up. They got to get right to battle. No, they're working. They have to feed people. I'm glad they're talking about the food shortages and stuff. The dragons are sick. They're setting up a lot of the Game of Thronesy things that are good. So I think it would be cool to have a nice big trial of Jamie. I don't like Jamie. I don't think the North is going to be very forgiving, but like you said, I think Bran will probably have to step in or something.
Yeah.
I would love to see that for sure.
There's gonna be a mediation of some sorts, and kind of being like, well, he was a bad person, but so was a lot of people. Go ahead, John.
The thing about Jamie too, right? He's never really changed. He's only just admitted to everyone what he truly is, and he's not really a bad person. He's not really a good person. He's gray, but of course, he tried to murder a child for love, and the only way, I'm not justifying this, but you have to think about if Jamie and Cersei get caught. Their children are killed. They're killed. Their whole families are ruined. So before you judge Jamie, which you go ahead and judge him guilty. He pushed a kid out a window. But there are extenuating
Guilty,
circumstances.
guilty, 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 guilty. I'll mute now.
And they,
Guilty.
no, I agree. I agree with you that he's guilty, but that's the beauty of the show. To your point, everyone is really gray.
Today on People's Courts, we have a clearly evil, bad character that people somehow love to justify all the time. In one corner, it's Jamie Lannister. Bro. Just kidding. I'm going on mute now.
He's good looking, bro. He's good looking, bro. He's good looking.
He is good looking now. I like him with a little scruff, with a little gray, with a little salt and pepper. He does look good now. In the first season, I just wanted to punch him in the face, and I still do.
Too much of the prince from Shrek.
Okay, I got a couple questions really quick.
Oh, good. I interrupted your Jamie thought. That was my whole purpose. Excellent. Plan worked.
Let's see.
I hate Jamie Lannister.
I can't really see Melisandre coming in episode 3, big battle. Do you think it's more possible? Okay, so I got a theory on Melisandre as well. So you remember the storming of the dragon pit and the shepherd who got everybody in a fervor and made the townspeople basically riot? I think Melisandre's going to do something like this. Or the Red Priestess that we've seen in Volantis and Myr and all that. I don't know if we've actually seen Myr, but we've seen them preaching in the streets. I think we're going to start to see this in King's Landing, but they're going to go under a guise, and they're going to make the people rise up against Cersei. We've already got food shortages, and Cersei's just not really taking care of the people, so it's a powder keg for the people to rise up. Cersei's going to go for wildfire at this point as well. And
how do we know that she's not taking care of the people? Whoa, 1 second. How do we know that she's not? Because I think she is. I think she's holding the realm together as best as she can.
All the food got burned.
A lot of the food got burned.
She's even made points to don't really care about the people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
it's taking care of the Lord.
It's not any worse than Robert. What I'm saying is that this is a time of war, and when they do hear someone's coming, and you have people preaching in the streets, and you have a food shortage, it doesn't matter who the hell is up there on the Iron Throne. People are going to revolt.
It's a civil war waiting.
You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter who it is. Dornish Dan, Bubba Husky, Sasuke. I think I said.
Oh, the whole crew's here. I love these people. Yeah, this is my first season hanging out with this crew and stuff, and I wish I started doing this earlier. It is so cool being able to chill with these people in the chat. I mean, everybody has online friends these days, but I think it's just really cool to have people that are so into this stuff, because I think all of us could agree our local community is probably not as big into this. So I would have loved to have been talking about this for 8 seasons, but it's so cool. And the people you labeled off are awesome. I wish I could see them and shout them out, but I hope everyone's here and enjoying themselves. And I'm sure everybody's as happy as we are. So it's cool to be hanging out with you guys talking about this stuff. These are good people. Sasuke and Catherine Harding, Lamar, Imagination Realm, Peter Griffin, and all these. Even Shannon. Is Shannon Thompson here?
I think she might.
That's my Jamie enemy.
I think it's
friendly enemy. Frenemy.
Uhai Mane says the prince from Shrek. Yes, Jamie Lannister does look the same.
Season 1 episode.
Charming. Prince Charming.
So I hope he has a good acting career after this, but I'm looking forward to meeting him at Crown of Thrones. If anyone's going, he's going to be there. He's charging an arm and a leg for autographs, but that's where he's at this point. So I'll love to see him, and I hope I can give him some bunny ears or something and save that picture for my grandkids or something. I love the actor, but I hate the character. He's a great actor, though. How about that look he gave with Bran? I mean, that's like meme level of you don't just walk into Mordor like Sean Bean. Like that meme was immortalized. One does not simply walk into Mordor. That look that Nikolai did to Bran was absolutely, like I was ranting about the acting before, that was so good. He needs an Emmy plastered in gold after this season. I mean, I hate the character, but what a great actor. What a great look. I mean, that's going to be my wallpaper for 2 days, just that look. I mean, it's so powerful. I mean, what was going through Jamie's mind? I know this wasn't on our list of topics, but I mean, imagine that.
Probably the fact that Bran survived, because probably he kind of forgot about Bran after the 3rd episode of season 1. And to know that he's in a wheelchair and that he's home and all of this other stuff, and the fact that he survived, because they obviously don't know that because the South never really learned about anything about the brothers besides the fact of when Rob had left and then Rickon and Bran had been dispersed / killed. That was like the last kind of thing that they heard about him. So the fact that he's there, and it's that callback to episode 1 with the whole shock and awe moment of those two ending the episode.
Look at that beautiful man.
No, it's great. I'm telling you, that's going to be memed forever. I mean, it looks like he just took a 3-month journey to Winterfell. I mean, look at it. He just
Like
that
took
just
a 3 months dump as well.
no,
No,
that's what's going to happen to me after this bacon, man. I might need to take a bathroom break myself soon.
oh my God, I have to tell you a story about a jiu-jitsu competition I went to after eating a all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet, but we'll tell that off air.
Well, yeah.
But his facial expressions when Euron wanted to put the finger in the bum, just he makes a scene, and I definitely agree with you on that point. Let's get into our tinfoil theory, and I will change over the thing, and let's talk.
I don't know if we'd even classify it as tinfoil at this point, brother.
No, not really.
Let's call it finfoil.
Well, that's better.
Fan tinfoil, but no, pinfoil, proven tinfoil. Pinfoil. Because no, I know what you're saying. There's so many clues, and you have a big list, but it's just got to put them together. So take the wheel, brother. You want me to play Take the Wheel?
Oh, there.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Okay, so
here we go.
I got that
if
right.
Anybody in this chat starts talking about Targaryens, block them, mods. I'm kidding.
No, don't do that. But
I'm totally kidding.
Point, John.
Sort of.
That's right here. Is the spiral symbol. We've seen this throughout, right, John? I don't want to bust your thing up. They can kind of see it, but here. But we've seen it throughout, right? With the horses at the Fist of the First Men, inside the cave, and then I keep pulling on the wrong one. Even where right here, where we see the Night King was made. Now you also have the Dothraki circling Dany. And I don't know if the mother shot really pertains, but here's the horse head.
No, I think those bottom two are kind of weak, but the other ones are great.
Yeah, so let's see.
So there's already tons of great material online about the symbols and stuff, but now I think season 8 we're really starting to get these things connected, and I don't know what spoiler level you would I mean, I don't want to do a spoiler warning right here, but there's not really a spoiler, but once you get into like actor interviews and writer interviews, some people get a little shaky. So if people don't like that, you can leave, or you should stay because it's pretty good. Because there was one writer that gave a interview today or the other day about the symbols, and I had found this from Chrissy of Old Stones, and she recommended it.
Old Stones.
Yeah, thank you, Chrissy. You're awesome, and you have amazing hair. I don't have any hair, and Mackenzie, your hair looks great too. And Johnny, I know why you're wearing a hat. I was there a couple of years ago. Nature takes its course, brother. So,
brothers.
But no, she sent me this. But the thing you're going to see next is I actually found this, and I stumbled upon it out of nowhere. So I don't know if you want to set it up, because this is our big reveal here. Bam! So what you're looking at here, folks, is the original concept art of the Children of the Forest. Now, you have to realize that this is a huge production that involves composers and editors and VFX people, and multiple teams bid on certain projects. Like when I work on if I do composing for a different project, I have to compete against other people and bid, and sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. This is early concept art. This could have been the actual visual effects team or an effects team that was pitching for the project, but this got pretty far up the food chain. This was going to be the original design for the Children of the Forest. And as you see, there's spirals all over. They're like single line spirals, because the article said they were supposed to be made of wood. So it looks like they just carved just a wood spiral. It's not super intricate, but it's all over them. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't go with this design, because I think that it would make it totally obvious. Gray Area has a theory where Leaf's hand, you could see the spiral on it, but it's not conclusive. This, I think, is pretty damn conclusive and connects it pretty solidly to the Children of the Forest. Now, how I found that was kind of funny, because I was just looking up like pictures to do. I wanted to put up a new poster, in my house. So I looked up like Dragon Pit because I thought that was a cool thing. So I looked up Dragon Pit and I saw something in Google Images. It said like 20 unused Game of Thrones concept art. And it was like, here's the unused Dragon Pit scene. Like there were unused Pike scenes. There were unused art for a lot of, it was really cool stuff. Like the original design for the Warlocks, like all these official, like this is not theories. This is like a real entertainment website. So number 18 was the original Children of the Forest. I saw this. I said, holy, I'm not going to swear, this is a big one. And I texted a couple people this, but right now you're getting a full reveal of this concept art. The article came out years ago, but it probably has just been sitting here until now. I think this conclusively tells us what these symbols are. They're just a religious symbol or a spiritual symbol or a cultural symbol of the children. There was a writer that gave an interview the other day that also confirmed that all the Night King is doing is taking this symbol and basically mocking it. It's like an upside down cross, a burning cross, but the symbol has nothing to do with Targaryens, nothing to do with other mystical things. It's just simply a Children of the Forest symbol. And whether they explain it more, they can, but it's been popping up everywhere. And if they went with that original design for the children, it probably would have been super obvious. So I think there's a good reason why that was not the approved design. But if Chrissy's here, she could post the link. I don't have too much here, but you can just go ahead, any of the mods, Google unused Game of Thrones graphic, or what do they call them? Like unused concept art is the term. Unused Game of Thrones concept art. Post that link. We did a little reveal here, so hopefully people are convinced by that, but some people aren't. I think it's pretty convincing. So I will end it there, brother, and thank you for giving me the platform to release that little find.
Oh yeah, man. We'll talk about it a little bit. I'll throw some stuff out there. What I think about it. I do believe they'll bring possibly the Children of the Forest back. Will we see the God's Eye? I don't know.
Sorry, I had
Everyone's
to play a little Lord of Light sound there for the extra added mystery.
Oh, it's awesome. But this really signifies what the Night King is after. It's really in tune with nature and the cycle of nature and everything beginning and ending and restarting over and over again. Now, in ancient cultures, another interesting thing is this could be a timetable. This could be telling some sort of time here. And y'all look into it for me. Let me know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But the spiral was used as a sundial to tell kind of where they were in the universe, so to speak. And I think
the idea of a nature symbol is what you're kind of found your foundational point, right? Is that it's a natural symbol. Like it's not a house sigil, it's a natural nature-based thing, right? And I think that's brilliant.
I really do. I mean, it represents so many different things, from whirlpools, hammers of the water, to tsunamis, hammers of the water, to tornadoes, hurricanes, even volcanoes, when you kind of think about it.
Absolutely. And they have so much to go with in the prequels now. You just mentioned Hammer of the Waters. Boom. They're going to reuse the you know what out of this symbol. And if it's a nature-based symbol, like you're saying, absolutely.
I really do think it ties in with nature defending itself, Mother Nature fighting back. It's more poetic than the Children of the Forest making something that got out of control. Yes, you could say it got out of control, but you could also say that this is working out perfectly for them. Leafin even said it. They're going extinct. No matter what they do, they will go extinct. Why not take out as many humans as you can along the way? And that's not to say they're bad. Children of the Forest are just like us, but they saw their home invaded. They saw their ancient gods chopped down and desecrated. So you can't blame them in a sense. I would say the Night King's really pissed off and cursed, but I think there's more there than him just being a bad guy, right? That's not the way this is written.
Well, I think even in that Isaac Hempstead interview that I mentioned, and I don't know if this is spoiler realm, it was a day ago on Jimmy Fallon, he kind of hinted to that. Jimmy Fallon was doing the classic like comedian talk show thing. All right, if you give me a spoiler, like blink once or whatever. And Isaac Hempstead said something along the lines of, well, what if the Night King isn't dead? And he said it like that. He said, well, what if the Night King is a living thing? And he said it as kind of a joke, but a serious fan would sit there and say, whoa, wait a sec. And the Night King actor has already said his thing, the director. So they've already set up the idea of the Night King is not black and white. They've set up the idea that perhaps we're going to empathize with this character. I mean, we know Westerosi are effed up people. They're terrible people. I mean, everybody in this world is actually kind of terrible besides a few. I mean, so the Night King, yeah, he's pretty bad. He's really bad. But you know how George is. I think they've already set it up that, hey, this is not a dead person. We never see this person. This person didn't die. He was transferred. He's been living for thousands of years. Hell, just end it. So Isaac Hempstead, if you look up his Jimmy Fallon interview, they were doing a comedy routine. And Isaac, like I said, he's a young actor. He's, you know, the girls are shouting now. And maybe he said a little too much. I forget what the actual joke was. It was like, I think Jimmy Fallon said, well, what if an undead army was coming at you? Like you're going to save the world, right, Brant? He's like, what if the Night King wasn't dead? He's living. And I'm thinking, hell yeah, this is a human with a human story. And I think some of these actor interviews and stuff can be trolling and stuff, like the Night King actor. What the hell does he know? He's an actor that shows up and does this thing. He doesn't know what the Night King's motives are. I think it is a deeper motive. It's not just evil. There's a human there. And probably by the end of the show, we are going to be on the Night King's side.
I already kind of am. No, I'm just kidding. Shout
There
out to
we
Riso. Riso.
Hot take.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I just wanted to say hot take. Go ahead. You guys.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
The Johns love talking. Don't worry about us. You just enjoy. No, I think this has been an awesome chat. I'm going to give some shout outs. Do you have anything else you would like to say? Mackenzie, you haven't talked for a minute there. Look at you. Don't look at me like that. Do you have anything to add to what we've put out there? And would you like to give some shout outs in the chat and maybe read some of the comments?
Sure. Yeah. The whole thing with the spiral, it is not because it's House Targaryen. The spiral is seemingly there before, like it's with the Children of the Forest, and the Targaryens have only existed for like 300 years, and plus, even then, they were a minor house, and I think it's because Aegon liked the symbol, in a sense. That's why he kind of made it look like that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. And everybody's now so interested in the spiral after it showing up with Ned Umber. It's a little suspect.
And everybody has the right to have their theory, of course. You know, I think it's a cool. I don't like bashing other people's ideas. I think the Targaryen is a pretty weak idea, but you know, people do have their support. There's a couple cool videos about it. I mean, but you know, in my opinion, I think the stuff we're talking about is much more rational, and they've set it up in the show. I mean, to me, it's not even a controversy. To me, I think it's just children's stuff. But you know,
the one thing that is just kind of weird about it is that they're talking about how it looks like the Targaryen symbol now and not having talked about it when we first kind of saw it. That's the one thing I'm just like, now we want to think it's all about the House Targaryen because the house was so prevalent in that episode. But
well, I think you're looking too hard to find the answer, but that's what makes this so fun, right? We get to speculate, go war, and I don't care if I'm wrong. I just have fun making up fanfic in my own head.
I care if you're wrong, Johnny, because when you're right, I get happy because when you're right, you smile, and I love your smile.
I smile anyway, even though I hate myself. No, I'm kidding.
So when Mackenzie makes a good point, she holds her pen. I noticed that. When I try to make a good point, I hold my mouse pad. Everybody has their ticks. Do you hold anything, Johnny, when you make a good point or anything?
I don't know. I just.
Oh wait, you don't make any good points anyway. Oh, you stole the punchline. Come on, brother.
I'll take all the joy from your jokes. I'll take all the joy from your jokes.
Oh, you take all my joy. Come on. This is the tinfoil segment. This is the most joyous part.
Do you want to give a shout out? I saw some shout outs. Sorry.
Sasuke in the chat. It was awesome. Yeah, Deborah Breedlove, the Imagination Rail, Sergeant Yorkie, Bubba Husky, Catter Vision, OTDA, myself, Tina Sarah Amsty, Danny McKay, Catherine Harding, let's see, Dornish Stan, Tad Dawson 68, Jawin Girl,
Jaja Girl,
Torm Tormik K,
Mhm.
Yunha, Mane, Sinful Souls, Linda Smith, Reese
Ah,
O.
Vanessa Amnesty? I'm,
So
I'm, go
some
ahead.
person named Johnny B. Crazy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He came into the chat
I
today.
was thinking of Catherine Harding the other day because she's a baker, and I've been rereading Storm of Swords, and it got to the point where Danny's in Marine, and they're talking about, or she's been in Marine for a while. It's talking about her meal, and it's like she had a rack of lamb. You know how they Georgified it, a rack of lamb, and it was like warm baked bread with honey on it. And I was thinking, man, why did Catherine Harding was here to make a bread of honey? Because there was one chat we started talking about muffins. She left. She goes, I'm back. I made a dozen muffins. I said, man, that is awesome. So I was thinking of Catherine when I was reading that scene. I'm like, man, honey, honey, warm bread. But it's a joke. It's a joke point. But before we move on, because it's not tinfoil less, speaking of the food, what did you guys think of that quick way they set up that thing that Sansa said? I mean, it's very Game of Thrones bookish, where they talk about who pays for the food, who does this, like, what are the dragons eating? They could, I mean, to me, the dragons may even be too weak to fight. That would be a crazy angle.
Yeah.
Do you think that was just a quick thing to kind of segue off the Catherine joke a little bit?
I figured it out.
Do you think it's a big deal? And now I'm hungry again, Catherine, so feel free to mail me some muffins. That would be really awesome. See, I don't have a handle. I don't have a handle, so you could look up my damn house online. It's a freaking terrible world. It's awful.
But I
What do you
figured
think
out
about
why
that,
Sansa
Mr.
did what she
Johnny?
did. I figured out why Sansa did what she did. You could argue, okay, Sansa should have did that in private, but this is my point. John, later when Sansa asks him, did you bend the knee for love, or did you bend the knee to save the North? And so when Sansa's here in the beginning, I think she's defending John and saying what John wants to say, but he's too scared to say it. That's what her thoughts are. That, hey, he's with the Dragon Queen. Maybe she doesn't, maybe she has him by the nuts here. I think that's what Sansa feels like. That's how she treated Danny, right? And that's what I feel this is for. That's why she brought it up in public like this, because they've already been talking about it. You can't tell me that they haven't talked about the food situation before they arrived.
Yeah.
She totally has him by the nuts. And when you are nutted by a woman, you don't know it. You need someone to tell you. Believe me, I've been in that rainbow world. Like, it's awesome. But you need someone to tell you, hey, they are playing you like a fiddle. Danny is playing John like a fiddle. She does it with every man. Dario, she shoved him to the side. Jorah shoved him, brought him back. She's done it plenty of times. She started doing it with Barristan Selmy. She is playing John like a fiddle. He is nutted. And Sansa's being a good sister. John has great sisters. He really does.
And the whole Sansa is the smartest person I've ever met. But there was also some other people who joined us earlier. Game of Owens, as well as Girl Nettles. And I think that's as far as my chat can go. Oh, and Nicola Jerk. That's as far as the chat can go up for me anyway.
Thank y'all. Like, Secrets of the Citadel, I believe is going live pretty soon, so we will wrap it up slightly. Circa Gene, y'all have some really good points that I'm gonna write down and we'll talk about soon. Steve York, as far as Viserion and the Night King, I don't think he is going to Winterfell. I think the Night King's going a different direction and sending the rest of his army and Craster's sons to Winterfell, because you don't need a dragon, honestly, and I think he needs a diversion. I don't think what he really wants is at Winterfell.
What about the Crips?
We have the Crips, but what's he gonna do there? How much do they set up with the Kings of Winter? I don't think they're pulling that out.
What if the Night Queen is down there, and that's how they are going to get us to empathize with the Night King?
What is a Night Queen? It hasn't even been brought up in the show once.
Well,
why does there need to be a Night Queen?
But if they have 5 episodes, now this is not Tim.
Sons.
If they have 5 episodes, how are they going to get us to sympathize with this guy? How about a wife? How about Melisandre? How about Melisandre banging the Night King with some music? Woo, that's a hot porno right there, huh?
Look, the Crips are simple. You got to think about, they're just using that as an escape route. It goes back to Maester Luwin telling Theon there were tunnels leading out of Winterfell. Because you see Jorah Brienne, all of those in the vanguard making their last stand. All of those people are going to die. That's why I think Brienne's going to die now. She might make it through that battle, but they're staying there and they're fighting while other people are getting away from through the crypts. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong. Um, but I'll shut the hell up now because we've got to keep going. But there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, read
What
some of that
Mel's
out. What are
role
people
is
saying? Yeah.
what Mel's role is very gonna be fun. I'm not here from the start. Maybe you covered that, but Arya's new weapon. Any thoughts about that? Yeah, it's just a dual-edged dragon glass bow staff that breaks down into two pieces, in my opinion, for close quarters Cali stick combat. I don't think it's much more than that. We've seen her with the bow staff in the previews, so I think that's all it is. It breaks down into two because you can't really use a bow staff in a hallway. So it's pretty damn practical.
So I do have actually a larger theory about that. I don't want to take up too much time. You remember the teaser where Needle was standing up by itself? I think part of this process of the de-Starkification of Arya is she's going to have to leave Needle around. I mean, Needle is an old symbol of her past, and obviously they played it up in the show because her father gave it to her in the show as opposed to Polliver and stuff. But so I mean, Needle has been a symbol of Stark, and right now we're getting a lot of independent Arya. So I think it's showing that a new weapon for Arya means this is the new Arya. Needle is probably no longer, or shouldn't really at this point, be a part of Arya. Therefore, the larger point would be that, yeah, this is her new weapon, but it's also symbolizing of her new life and her new badassery. That Arya always needs a cool, small weapon. And this is going to be her cool, small weapon. That's just my thought with that. I think Needle has definitely seen its day. I think there's other swords that will probably be more important. And then that's another rabbit hole.
Yeah. Deborah Breedlove has a great comment. Looked at the map. The other symbol is Sun Spear, this close to the Karstark Sunburst sigil, which looks a lot like what the Night King's leaving around with the spiral. Tyrion actually makes a point of talking about it's one of the better symbols, and this goes back to the map theory that he's kind of telling people where he's going in a roundabout way. And having the sun of the Great House in the middle of a bursting sun is a little bit of rebirth type symbolism to me. And when you say that the Night King, what we've talked about earlier, is more of a Lucifer figure, then he's going after the Son of God. The Son of God is the reborn Son. This is kind of fitting. We're talking about this on Good Friday. That's so funny. And, this could go into John. More than likely, it's John. He's the person who's been reborn. And the Son of God can mean the sun that's risen again, the bringing of dawn. You got all of the symbolism here, and we could have a 3-hour wormhole. I think we need to have a part 2 with this, John.
I didn't know you were taking me to church today, brother. Come on, man. Do I got to donate? Do I got to tithe now? 10%?
No, man. I just have some theological knowledge.
All right, there we go. Yeah, great.
I think that's pretty interesting. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you, because we've got to wrap up, unfortunately. Much love,
man.
everybody in the chat.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. No, I'm glad I was able to come on with you guys. It's cool. I'm the new guy on the block, and obviously music is my specialty. I hope a few of those little factoids we talked about in the beginning were interesting, and we got into tinfoil territory. It was great talking with you. But really, people in the chat, I wouldn't overthink these symbols too much, and I obviously probably wouldn't expect a big reveal either. But a lot of the stuff that Johnny was talking about was really great. Hopefully, you have a video or something coming out after, Johnny, where you could package them all up, because even the document you shared with us has a lot of good stuff. So I think we got some good stuff with that today, and it was great being with you. You could find me on YouTube and stuff. It's just my name. I don't, I'm not super focused on Game of Thrones, but I have a playlist now of some of the streams. But I'm a musician. I do mostly music. So if you're interested in music and stuff, you can check me out. If your guys are watching Amanda to the Rescue on Animal Planet, I'm working on the music to that show right now, which is cool. So I haven't gotten to HBO level yet, but I'm writing music for a lot of crappy TV shows. So if you're ever interested in that, you guys can look up my stuff about that. But I'm happy to do some Game of Thrones stuff once in a while, and Song of Ice and Fire. It's been a great part of my life, a great soundtrack that has changed my life and helped me through a lot of situations. And the characters are great, and the chat is great. Johnny, you're the man, and Mackenzie, you're great. It was great chatting with you guys, and I'll probably be getting off and going to that next stream. So that's my outro. Love you all. I don't have
Awesome.
an outro song.
Yeah, they're sad about that. They want you to play us away, but Mackenzie.
Oh, I can play the Game of Thrones theme song at the very end. That's always an easy one for him.
Mackenzie.
That's a free of charge.
Yeah, Girl Nettles wants you to play again. She loved it. Everybody loved it in the chat. MackenzieLBurns, plug us if you can.
Yeah, so you can find me on my channel, where every Wednesday night we will be talking about the episode on Episode Club, with some, I think JR should be joining with us for that episode. Yeah, so it'll be that, and then I should be doing my reaction video to the episode before Wednesday, hopefully this time, and yeah, always on Johnny's channel or on Cylon John's. So
Definitely check us
Mackenzie,
out.
I know I'm not super active in your chats sometimes, but I do watch all your videos. They're very good. You guys talk about great stuff. You're real down to earth, like real people. That's what I like a lot about these streams, is no one's fake. Everyone's just real how they are. We're not afraid to nerd out. So I love your streams when you have all the ladies on and stuff talking about asses and stuff. And there it was, talking about
Wow, we got the butt stream coming up, by the way.
And talk about all the stuff. You guys do all great stuff. And I know, I mean, I don't know, but I do. I've been enlightened very recently to how much work you guys really put into this stuff. I mean, Johnny, you're working your tail off editing and putting these videos together is a real labor of love, guys. So it's great. But Mackenzie, if you guys don't subscribe to her stuff, check it out. It's really great. And Johnny Be Crazy stuff is great.
Thank you. It's truly humbling, man. It's nice when your hard work you get slightly appreciated for it. It doesn't matter how many people it is. Just a little bit of appreciation is awesome. And I can't thank you enough for having us on. Thank you everyone in the chat. And it's all good. Much love. I hope you catch us on the next Nooners of Ice and Fire. Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be covering the second episode of season 8. So check that out. John, take us away.
Check it out and take it away. Sing along at home, kids. Oh, wrong sound. Rewind that. That's a Lord of Light sound. Let's get to the theme. Here we go. Sing along at home. And that's about all.